Hey guys, we're going to skip ahead to game 17. At this point in the match, Steinitz has a 2-point lead. It's actually first to 10 games, and the score is 7-5. I have to set up the position. Oh, it is set up. All right. So this was a really key game for many reasons. White to move in this position. What would you play? Zukertort plays a very fine move. Pause your video, as always, and try to figure it out. So, if you look at the position, you can see white has some advantage. All of our rooks are developed on open files. Black's rooks are back at home. The knight on e8 is backed up. The pawn in e5 controls a lot of space. So, we want to take advantage of our lead in development. Like, whenever you have a lead in development, you want to attack before they can get their pieces coordinated. Now, which of our pieces are not doing very much and can be kind of shifted to a more useful position? The knights are doing fine here, both controlling key squares. The bishop has nowhere too special to go. The rooks are perfectly placed, the queen's well placed. It's this bishop. This bishop is the key. How do I get rid of these circles? I do not even know. But white plays a very nice maneuver here. And maneuvering is very important in chess. It's just kind of like you recognize where one of your pieces should be, and then you put it there. And Zukertort played a very nice move, bishop to f4, with the idea of bishop to e3, putting even more pressure on black's position by pinning the knight. If you take a look at the evaluation here, white is virtually winning after bishop to f4. And that's why this game is so important. So bishop f4 is a great move. Steinitz played bishop to d7, bishop e3, bishop c6, knight to d4 was strong, rook to d8, and I'm going to go through these moves relatively quickly. I think like, well, knight to b5 was played. I mean, you're going to see that white holds on to an advantage for the majority of the game. Queen to c6, and black's still got some development problems. b4, pawn takes, knight to d7. And now white attacks the queen, queen to e4, and quick, what's an interesting looking tactical idea here for white? If you found the move knight takes e6, you are correct. And the idea is after pawn takes, e6, bishop takes, followed by bishop takes knight, or maybe rook takes knight, and white is up 2 pawns and winning. Black played a very interesting sacrifice here. Black played knight takes e5, sacrificing the exchange. Knight takes f8, knight takes c4, knight to d7. So white has a rook for the knight, but after bishop to b4, black has a pawn for it. So it's not super easy. Queen d3 was played, queen g4, h3, queen e6, rook to b1, attacking the bishop, knight takes e3, and now, is my analysis thing still on? It isn't. Now Steinitz played a supposedly bad move according to the annotations I'm seeing. They prefer rook takes b4, knight takes d5, rook takes b7, queen c6, queen to b1, knight f4, f3, defending checkmate on g2, knight e2, king f2, knight to d4, with the idea of knight to e6, and suppose white has some small advantage. White has more than a small advantage after queen e4. These are Steinitz's annotations. But for the most part, white is doing very well there. Instead, however, white played queen takes e3. And after queen takes d7, rook takes b4. Black has an annoying move here. So, if white could just play with the queen and the rook, we could probably just like pile up on, use our queen and rook together to create really unstoppable threats. But black does something good here. Black goes queen d1, king h2, queen d6, attacking the rook and therefore forcing a queen trade. Queen f4, and now what should black play? This is where it's tempting to just go queen takes f4, but instead he first starts with king to f8. Because the thing is, when white takes the queen, we want our knight on d6 to protect the b7 pawn, and we want to go king e7 to kind of solidify things. So king g3, king e7, king f4, king to e6, h4. I mean, black now goes king to b5, and white's winning chances are quickly drifting away because black's going to go b5 and king c5 and kind of use the passed pawn in combination with the white to make with the knight to make white's life really difficult. So g4, b5, rook to b1, king to c5, rook to c1, king back to d5. And if I'm not mistaken, black drew this game with not too much difficulty from this point on. Yeah, they drew in a few moves. So king c5. Sorry, it's totally not it's totally not my move. Rook to b1, king c5, f4. I mean, the thing is, the rook is tied down to defending against this passed b pawn. So it's kind of unpleasant. King to d4, rook c7, b3, rook b7, king c3, rook c7, king d4. And the thing is, he doesn't have time to take here because b2, and then we make a queen. And now it's probably still a draw, but why should white take this risk? And so Zukertort had a fantastic chance to win the game, but just couldn't quite find the winning moves. After bishop e3, bishop c6, I believe knight to d4 was played. We'll even have Houdini running so we can see exactly what he should have done. Rook to d8, and now it suggests knight takes c6. After rook takes d1, queen takes d1, queen takes c6, bishop to b5. And the thing is, when the queen moves, if queen to b6, b4 wins the knight. And if the queen goes here, knight to a4 with ideas of b4, and black is in big trouble. Basically, black was in huge trouble this whole game, but Steinitz was a good defender in bad positions. And, you know, Zukertort did find this move, bishop f4 to e3, but Steinitz kind of hung in there. He used the key defensive tactic of sacrificing the exchange. Sometimes that type of material imbalance where you get a pawn for the exchange can create... It changes things a little bit. Like your opponent maybe loses the initiative and has to kind of go into some technical winning mode. And Zukertort couldn't quite do it, and so Steinitz retains his 2-point match lead. Thank you for watching, and tune in tomorrow for more of this match. Bye-bye.